Have you ever felt stuck, like you're carrying a heavy weight that's holding you back? That weight might be your past. The good news is, there's a powerful way to change your life, and it's all about letting go of what's behind you. This isn't about learning some complicated trick or doing something super hard. It's about changing the way you think. Letting go of the past is like opening a door to a whole new world of possibilities. It's about freeing yourself from old hurts, mistakes, and regrets that keep you from moving forward. Think about it. How often do you replay old memories in your head? Maybe it's that embarrassing moment from high school or a big mistake you made at work years ago. These thoughts can pop up when we least expect them, making us feel bad all over again. But what if you could stop those thoughts from controlling you? What if you could look at your past and say, "That happened, but it doesn't define me now"? That's the power of letting go. Letting go isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about changing how those past events affect you today. It's like cleaning out a cluttered room. You're not destroying your belongings. You're just deciding what's really important to keep and what's just taking up space. In the same way, letting go of the past helps you make room for new, better things in your life. Now you might be wondering, why is letting go so important? Well, imagine you're trying to drive a car while constantly looking in the rearview mirror. You wouldn't get very far, right? You might even crash. That's what holding onto the past does to our lives. It keeps us focused on what's behind us instead of what's ahead. When we can't let go, we get stuck in old patterns. We make decisions based on fear or old hurts instead of what's best for us now. It's like wearing shoes that don't fit anymore. They might have been great when you were younger, but now they just hurt your feet and slow you down. Letting go is the key to unlocking your future. It's like finally taking off those too small shoes and feeling the freedom to run. When you let go of the past, you open yourself up to new opportunities, better relationships, and personal growth. You start to see the world differently, with more hope and excitement for what's possible. But here's the thing. Letting go isn't always easy. It means facing some tough feelings, and maybe even changing some beliefs you've held for a long time. It's like cleaning out that cluttered room we talked about earlier. At first, it might feel overwhelming or even a bit scary. You might worry about what you'll find or what you'll have to deal with. But once you start, you'll feel lighter and freer with each thing you let go. The good news is, anyone can learn to let go. It doesn't matter how old you are or what's happened in your past. The power to change is always within you, and the rewards of letting go are worth the effort. Imagine waking up each day feeling lighter, more positive, and excited about your future. That's what's possible when you learn to let go of the past. So what does it really mean to hold on to the past? It's not like we're physically carrying around old memories in our pockets. But in many ways, holding on to the past can feel just as heavy and real. One common way we hold on to the past is by dwelling on old mistakes. Maybe you said something you regret to a friend years ago and you still cringe every time you think about it. Or perhaps you made a bad decision at work and you keep replaying it in your mind, wishing you could go back and change it. This kind of thinking is like watching the same sad movie over and over again. You know how it ends, but you can't seem to turn it off. Another way we hold on to the past is by keeping grudges. Think about a time when someone hurt you or let you down. Do you still feel angry when you think about it? Do you find it hard to trust people because of what happened? Holding a grudge is like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. It weighs you down and makes everything harder, but you've gotten so used to it that you might not even realize how much it's affecting you. Sometimes holding on to the past looks like living in what-if land. You might catch yourself thinking, what if I had taken that job? Or, what if I had married my high school sweetheart? These thoughts keep us stuck in a version of the past that never actually happened, preventing us from fully embracing our present. Holding on to the past can also show up in how we see ourselves. Maybe you made some mistakes when you were younger and now you think of yourself as a screw-up. Or perhaps you were once really successful at something and you can't stop comparing your current self to that past version. This kind of thinking keeps us trapped in old identities that may not fit who we are now or who we want to become. In relationships, holding on to the past might look like expecting a new partner to behave like an ex. You might find yourself getting upset about things that haven't even happened yet, all because you're still carrying the hurt from a previous relationship. This not only affects your current relationship, but can prevent you from fully opening your heart to new connections. Sometimes, holding on to the past is about holding on to things. You might have a closet full of clothes that don't fit anymore, but you can't bear to get rid of them because they remind you of a time when you felt more confident. Or maybe your house is cluttered with old mementos that you never look at but can't seem to let go of. These physical reminders can keep us tied to the past in ways we don't even realize. Another way we hold on to the past is through our habits and routines. Maybe you always take the same route to work even though there's a faster way just because it's what you've always done. Or perhaps you keep the same unhealthy eating habits you had in college even though your body needs something different now. These patterns can keep us stuck in old ways of living that don't serve our present or future selves. Holding on to the past can also look like constantly comparing your life to how it used to be. You might find yourself saying things like, "Back in my day, things were better," or "I used to be able to do that so easily." While it's natural to remember the past, constantly comparing it to the present can prevent us from appreciating what we have now and looking forward to the future. In some cases, holding on to the past means holding on to old dreams or goals that no longer fit who we are. Maybe you always wanted to be a famous actor, but now you have a family and a job you love. Still, you can't shake the feeling that you're somehow failing because you didn't pursue that old dream. This can keep us from fully embracing and enjoying the life we actually have. Lastly, holding on to the past can manifest as fear of the future. If you've been hurt or disappointed before, you might find yourself hesitating to try new things or take risks. You might think, "Last time I tried something like this, it didn't work out, so why bother?" This kind of thinking keeps us stuck in place, afraid to move forward because of what happened in the past. All these ways of holding on to the past have one thing in common. They keep us from fully living in the present and moving confidently into the future. They're like anchors holding us in place when we could be sailing towards new horizons. Recognizing these patterns is the first step in learning to let go and open ourselves up to new possibilities. The effects of not letting go. Holding on to the past doesn't just affect our memories. It can change our whole life in big ways. Think about carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. At first, you might not notice the weight, but after a while, your shoulders start to ache, you get tired faster, and you can't move as freely. That's what not letting go does to our lives. One of the biggest effects is on our relationships. When we're stuck in the past, we often bring old hurts and fears into new relationships. Maybe you had a partner who cheated on you, so now you find it hard to trust anyone. Or perhaps you're always comparing your current friends to a close friend you had years ago. This can stop us from forming deep, meaningful connections with people. We might push people away or never let them get too close, or because we're afraid of getting hurt again. Not letting go can also hold us back in our careers. If you've had a bad experience at a job in the past, you might be too scared to apply for a promotion or try for a new position. You might think, "What if I fail again?" or "I'm not good enough for that kind of job." These thoughts can keep you stuck in a job you don't like, missing out on opportunities to grow and succeed. Our mental health takes a big hit when we can't let go of the past. Constantly reliving old memories or worrying about past mistakes can lead to anxiety and depression. It's like your mind is stuck on a hamster wheel, going over the same thoughts again and again. This can leave you feeling tired, stressed, and unhappy most of the time. Not letting go can even affect our physical health. When we're always stressed about the past, our bodies react. You might have trouble sleeping, get headaches more often, or feel tense all the time. Some people might turn to unhealthy habits like overeating or drinking too much to try and forget about the past. But these things only make us feel worse in the long run. Another big effect is on our self-esteem. If we're always focusing on past mistakes or comparing ourselves to who we used to be, it's hard to feel good about who we are now. We might think we're not smart enough, not successful enough, or just not good enough in general. This can stop us from trying new things or believing in ourselves. Not letting go can also rob us of joy in the present moment. When we're always thinking about the past, we miss out on the good things happening right now. It's like watching a beautiful sunset, but being so lost in thought that you don't even notice it. We might forget to appreciate the little things in life or the people who care about us. Our decision-making gets affected too. When we're stuck in the past, we often make choices based on old information or fears, not on what's best for us right now. It's like using an outdated map to navigate a new city. You're bound to get lost. This can lead to missed opportunities or making the same mistakes over and over again. Creativity and personal growth can stall when we can't let go. If we're always doing things the way we've always done them, we don't leave room for new ideas or ways of thinking. It's like trying to plant new flowers in a garden full of weeds. There's no space for anything new to grow. Lastly, not letting go can affect our overall outlook on life. We might become cynical or pessimistic, always expecting the worst because of what happened in the past. This negative attitude can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, making it hard to see and take advantage of good opportunities when they come our way. Now that we've talked about what holding onto the past looks like and how it affects us, let's dig into why we do it. Even when we know it's not good for us, letting go can be really hard. Understanding why we hold on is a big step towards being able to let go. One of the main reasons we hold on to the past is fear. Change can be scary even when we know it's for the best. The past, even if it wasn't great, is familiar. We know what to expect. Moving forward means stepping into the unknown, and that can feel risky. It's like standing at the edge of a swimming pool, knowing the water will feel good, but hesitating because it might be cold at first. Sometimes we hold on to the past because it's a big part of our identity. Maybe you were the star athlete in high school, and even though that was years ago, you still think of yourself that way. Or perhaps you went through a really tough time, and being a survivor of that experience has become a key part of who you are. Letting go can feel like losing a part of yourself, even if that part isn't serving you anymore. Guilt is another big reason we hold on. We might feel like we don't deserve to be happy or move on because of mistakes we've made. It's like we're punishing ourselves by not letting go. This is especially common if we've hurt someone else. We might think that holding on to the guilt somehow makes up for what we did, even though it doesn't really help anyone. Sometimes we hold on because we're waiting for closure. Maybe an ex never explained why they broke up with you, or a friend stopped talking to you for no reason. We keep replaying these situations in our minds, hoping to make sense of them. But the truth is, we don't always get the closure we want, and holding on just keeps us stuck. Comfort can be another reason, believe it or not. Even if the past wasn't great, It's what we know. Moving on means facing new challenges and maybe even changing how we see ourselves. It's like wearing an old, worn-out pair of shoes. They might not be good for your feet anymore, but they're comfortable because they're familiar. We might also hold on to the past because we're afraid of forgetting. This is especially true if we've lost someone we love. We might think that letting go means forgetting that person or the good times we had. But remembering and honoring the past is different from being stuck in it. Sometimes we hold on because we're hoping things will go back to how they used to be. Maybe you had a great job that you lost, or a relationship that ended. Holding on to the past might feel like keeping the door open for things to go back to normal. But life is always changing, and holding on can keep us from embracing new, potentially better situations. Another reason we hold on is that it can be a way of avoiding responsibility. If we're always focused on what happened to us in the past, we might not have to face the things we need to do now to improve our lives. It's easier to blame past events for our problems than to take action to change things. Sometimes we hold on because we think we need to learn more from the past before we can move on. While it's good to learn from our experiences, overthinking past events doesn't usually lead to new insights. It's like reading the same page of a book over and over. At some point, you need to turn the page to learn something new. Lastly, we might hold on to the past simply because we've never learned how to let go. If we've always dealt with problems by dwelling on them, the idea of letting go might not even occur to us. It's like having a toolbox with only one tool. We keep using it because we don't know there are other options. Understanding these reasons can help us be kinder to ourselves as we learn to let go. It's natural to hold on, but once we understand why we're doing it, we can start to make different choices. When we talk about letting go from a spiritual point of view, we're looking at it as part of our bigger journey in life. It's not just about forgetting the past, but about growing as a person and finding peace inside ourselves. Many spiritual traditions talk about the importance of living in the present moment. They say that the past is gone and the future hasn't happened yet, so the only time we can really live is right now. When we hold on to the past, we're not fully here in the present. It's like trying to walk forward while always looking behind you. You're bound to trip and miss what's right in front of you. Another big idea in spiritual thinking is that everything is always changing. Nothing stays the same forever. This can be scary, but it's also good news when it comes to letting go. It means that no matter how bad things might seem now, they won't stay that way. And it also means that holding on to the past is like trying to hold on to water. It's going to slip away no matter what we do. Many spiritual teachers talk about forgiveness as a key part of letting go. This doesn't mean saying that what happened was okay. It's more about releasing the anger and hurt so that it doesn't keep affecting us. Forgiveness is like cutting the rope that ties us to a heavy weight. Suddenly we're free to move forward. Another spiritual idea is that our thoughts create our reality. This means that when we keep thinking about the past, we're actually keeping it alive in our lives. By changing our thoughts, we can change our experience of life. It's like changing the channel on a TV. Suddenly we're watching a whole different show. Many spiritual paths talk about the idea of surrender. This doesn't mean giving up, but rather accepting what is. When we accept that the past happened and we can't change it, we free up a lot of energy that we can use to create a better present and future. Some spiritual traditions believe in the idea of karma or cause and effect. From this view, holding on to the past creates more of the same in our lives. But when we let go, we create space for new, better experiences to come to us. There's also the spiritual idea that we're all connected. When we hold on to past hurts or anger, we're not just affecting ourselves, but everyone around us too. Letting go can be seen as a way of contributing to the greater good and spreading more peace in the world. Many spiritual teachings emphasize the importance of self-love and self-compassion. Letting go often involves forgiving ourselves and treating ourselves with kindness. It's like being a good friend to yourself, understanding that everyone makes mistakes and deserves a fresh start. Some spiritual paths use meditation or mindfulness as a way to practice letting go. These practices help us observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them. It's like watching clouds pass in the sky. We see them, but we don't try to hold on to them. Lastly, many spiritual views see letting go as a path to freedom. When we're not weighed down by the past, we're free to be who we really are and to live life fully. It's like taking off a heavy coat on a warm day. Suddenly, we can move and breathe much more easily. Remember, you don't have to follow any particular spiritual path to use these ideas. They're just different ways of looking at letting go that might help you on your journey. The key is to find what resonates with you and what helps you move forward in your life. Practical steps to let go. Now that we understand why letting go is important and why it can be hard, let's talk about how to actually do it. Remember, letting go is a process, not something that happens overnight. Be patient with yourself as you practice these steps. One of the first steps in letting go is to acknowledge your feelings. It's okay to feel sad, angry, or hurt about things that happened in the past. Trying to ignore these feelings often just makes them stronger. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes a lot of energy, and eventually it's going to pop back up. Instead, allow yourself to feel your emotions. Write them down, talk to a friend, or just sit quietly and let yourself experience them. Another important step is to practice mindfulness. This means paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When you notice yourself dwelling on the past, gently bring your attention back to what's happening right now. What can you see, hear, smell, taste, or feel? This helps train your mind to stay in the present instead of getting lost in old memories or worries. Forgiveness is a powerful tool for letting go. This includes forgiving others who have hurt you, but also forgiving yourself for mistakes you've made. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. It just means you're choosing to release the negative emotions attached to it. It's like putting down a heavy bag you've been carrying. You might still remember what happened, but you're not weighed down by it anymore. Creating new positive experiences can help shift your focus away from the past. Try new hobbies, meet new people, or visit new places. This gives your mind fresh, positive things to think about. It's like planting new flowers in a garden. The more beautiful new things you add, the less you notice the weeds. Practice gratitude regularly. Each day, think of 3 things you're grateful for in your life right now. This helps train your brain to focus on the good things in your present rather than dwelling on the past. It's like adjusting the lens on a camera to focus on what's beautiful in the scene in front of you. Learn to reframe your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking negatively about the past, try to find a different way to look at it. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this experience? Or how did this help me grow? This can help turn painful memories into valuable life lessons. Set new goals for yourself. Having things to look forward to and work towards can help pull your focus towards the future instead of the past. Make sure these goals are things that excite you and align with who you want to be. It's like setting a destination on a map. It gives you a clear direction to move in. Practice self-care. Taking care of your physical and mental health can make you more resilient and better able to handle difficult emotions. This includes getting enough sleep, eating well, exercising, and doing things you enjoy. Think of it as giving yourself a strong foundation to stand on as you work on letting go. Consider talking to a therapist or counselor. Sometimes we need professional help to work through past traumas or deeply ingrained patterns. A mental health professional can provide tools and strategies specific to your situation. It's like having a guide to help you navigate a difficult path. Finally, practice letting go in small ways every day. Maybe it's letting go of a minor annoyance or donating something you've been holding onto but don't need. These small acts can help build your letting go muscles for bigger challenges. As you start to practice letting go, you'll likely notice some positive changes in your life. These benefits can be really encouraging and can help motivate you to keep going on your journey of letting go. One of the biggest benefits is a sense of freedom. When you're not weighed down by the past, you'll feel lighter and more able to enjoy the present moment. It's like taking off a heavy backpack you've been carrying for years. Suddenly, you can move more freely and easily. You might notice your relationships improving. When you're not bringing old hurts and expectations into every interaction, you can connect with people more openly and authentically. You might find it easier to trust and to let people get close to you. Your mental health often improves when you let go of the past. You might experience less anxiety and depression. Your mind isn't constantly replaying old worries or regrets, so you have more mental energy for positive thoughts and experiences. It's like clearing out the clutter in your mind, making room for more peace and happiness. Letting go can boost your self-esteem. When you're not constantly judging yourself based on past mistakes or comparing yourself to who you used to be, you can appreciate who you are now. You might find it easier to recognize your strengths and feel confident in your abilities. Your physical health might improve too. Stress from holding onto the past can take a toll on your body. As you let go, you might notice you sleep better, have more energy, or even experience less physical pain. It's like your body can finally relax when it's not constantly on guard against old hurts. Creativity often flourishes when you let go of the past. You're more open to new ideas and experiences, and you're not limited by old beliefs about what you can or can't do. It's like opening a window and letting fresh air and new possibilities flow in.